I started in a subway station. Cold gray tiles beneath my feet, the smell of stale bread and diesel fumes filling my nose. And I remember thinking that if someone told me then I would someday be sitting in a high-rise office overlooking the city, I would have laughed. But I knew, from that moment, deep in my bones, that I was meant for more than just scraping by. I was only 15 when I first learned the true meaning of ambition. When I watched my mother struggle to keep the small grocery store afloat, while my father drank away his worries and dreams. I was just a girl, but I felt the weight of our future pressing down on me, and I swore I would escape that cycle. Fast forward 10 years, and I was sitting in my first job at a tiny bank branch, just a teller, counting coins and shuffling papers, watching the suits walk by, and dreaming of the day I would wear one myself. Every night, I pored over financial reports, obsessed with understanding the game that kept the rich so powerful. I knew I had skills, a sharp mind for numbers, and an unyielding hunger for success. But nobody saw me as more than a girl behind a counter, especially not the men who looked right through me, dismissing my intelligence with a sneer or a smirk. I remember the day I decided I would prove them wrong. I stayed late after my shift, studying the market trends. Learning every loophole, every secret investors kept hidden. I saved every penny I could, secretly investing in small startups with money I scraped together from side jobs, from gifts, from every tiny opportunity I could find. I was building something, quietly, in the shadows, a fortress of my own making. Then, one evening, a senior executive from the bank called me into his office. I thought it was a routine check-in, but when I arrived, he looked at me with a strange smile, and I sensed it was something more. He offered me a position in the investment department, something I had only dreamed of, a chance to move from teller to strategist. I took it, of course, and that was the turning point. With my new role, I began to see how the system worked, how to bend it to my will, how to turn small wins into massive victories. I learned to read people, to anticipate their moves, to play the long game. I was climbing step by step, but I knew I had to go further if I wanted to truly break free. I secretly invested millions, using the knowledge I amassed and the connections I forged. No one knew I had that kind of wealth. Not even my closest colleagues, because I kept it hidden behind a carefully crafted mask of professionalism. I was a ghost in the system, a shadow operator who wielded power quietly but effectively. Then I met him, the man I thought was my partner, my confidant, my love. He was charming, ambitious, and eager to build a future with me. We married in a small ceremony, just us and a few close friends, a celebration of our shared dreams. I believed I had found someone who truly understood my hunger, who could match my fire. But I was wrong. Slowly, I saw the cracks in our perfect facade. He started to question my success, accuse me of hiding something, of being too ambitious. I brushed it off at first, but then I discovered he was secretly siphoning money from our joint accounts, trying to undermine everything I had built. The betrayal cut deeper than any knife. I confronted him, and he laughed in my face, telling me I was naive, that I didn't deserve the wealth I had created. That was the moment I realized I had to act. I gathered evidence, meticulously, quietly, knowing that if I exposed him, it would destroy everything. But I didn't care. I had fought too hard, bled too much for this life. When the time came, I divorced him in the most public way possible, inside the glass-walled conference room of my own company, where I laid out every betrayal, every lie, every stolen dollar. I turned the tables on him, stripping him of his access, his influence, his reputation. Justice had to be served cold, and I served it with precision. Now everyone knows me as a woman who started with nothing and took everything she deserved. I own the skyline. I control my destiny, and I will never let anyone steal my power again. The lessons I've learned are brutal but invaluable. Trust is a fragile thing, and betrayal cuts the deepest when you least expect it. But strength is born from pain, and victory tastes sweetest when it's earned through fire. If you love Helena's journey, like and subscribe to join her next chapter. Remember, no matter where you start, the true power lies in how fiercely you fight to claim what's yours.